1 GB memory stick, you will not be able to install the game. And that is one thing that really does tick me off, because that's adding at least another 20 bucks to the price, but it does deserve the price at what it is, though. But that is one of the major stuff right there that I would guess you could complain about right there. But that's not really gameplay. I'm focused on gameplay when I'm gonna do my review of Birth by Sleep, which I still need to try and run an outline soon. Anyway, I think this will do it for part 17. Now we're probably on part 18 now. I don't really know, don't really care. Right here, I'm going. Right now, you gotta head to the canyon, and we gotta pretty much go through it. And this part can be very, very annoying, but it's not too bad. What's some other things that you've heard that the negativities about Birth by Sleep? They say the worlds are empty and hollow. Really, I could care less. I never really cared for interactment in the Kingdom Hearts in the first place. As long as there's just stuff to do around there, you know, it's not really too bad. And another good thing is that there's no party members, because, I mean, it's not really a big problem, but, like, in some areas you do have, like, a party member, but it doesn't really affect the game that much, except, like, it is on the PSP, and I can kind of understand because of the memory limitations to a PSP than a PS2 game, is, that the frame rate will start to get a little bit slower, but if you've been playing Kingdom Hearts for as long as I have, you really just don't care. You just keep on attacking as you are, and just overall, that's about it. Yeah, voice acting is very top notch. I think the load times and really the worlds are really the two biggest complaints from what I've read. I think I heard somewhere also that someone complained about how there's no good graphics. I say bullcrap to that, because the graphics of Birth by Sleep really do look amazing for a PSP game. Probably one of the best looking ones out there. But I think I'm done talking about that, because that's really all the negatives I can really say about Birth by Sleep from what I've been playing. I guess the lock-on system is a little bit more choppier than what it is in this game. In this game, it's not really presented itself as a problem. In Birth by Sleep, though, it does from time to time, but it's not really, you know, something you can experience like every second or something. So it's not really too bad if you just get used to it. But again, if you've been playing Kingdom Hearts, you're kind of used to this problem, so it's not really a big deal. You know how to handle it, right? That's really all the negative stuff I can say about Birth by Sleep from what I've played, and I've played about over 16, 18 hours into it, so I can definitely give a good statement about it, so yeah. But anyway, back to Kingdom Hearts 2. Alright, right here is where two centaurs are going to be, and I'm just telling you now, you're better off just going straight to your dry form and just whipping their butts, because this is the first time I'm going to use it and throughout the entire game, and I probably will not be using the Valor form that much, because personally my favorite is the Wisdom form, and yeah, but I will be trying to use dry forms as much as possible when I'm on bosses, because the reason I just do this, because not only does it not like take your drive bar down, it also lets Sora keep the costume he's wearing in the cutscene where he like does the Keyblade. I won't do it on all of them, but more or less I'll try to, but if sometimes I won't succeed. Well, that's enough about that. Right here is just some pointless cutscenes I decided to leave in. They're basically congratulating her. You know, this is actually kind of making me want to go back and watch the original Mulan movie. But I also gotta ask this. They are in the Chinese army. There is barely any troops with them. All there is those three guys, us, and like a couple of bodyguards for the captain and himself, and that's it. That's not really an army. And right here, I think, is where I skip a cutscene because I just really do not care for it whatsoever. Because I thought it just ended here, but what it is like they go into a village that we're gonna pop up in any second now. And Mushu says that he saw the Huns leader go in this little cave right here, which really does not make sense to me to why they did not scout this area out. I mean, if you're in the military, you scope out the area before you head forward. It's not that hard to understand. but whatever. I'm not. It's a video game. It's not worth getting a headache over. But it just, I don't know. But up here, if you've hated Ping for the amount of time that you've been with him, and for me it's been about 20 minutes right by now in all the recording, you're gonna hate him so, not him, her. You're gonna hate her so much in this little section right here, because Donald and Goofy go away, and you're about to see why, and Ping is left with Sora to fight a bunch of Heartless, and it really is annoying to do. This is another thing I'm glad they fixed in Birth by Sleep. There's no more things where you had to press the button to, talk to someone. I think all in all I've encountered it at least 3 times, and I've played at least 18 hours in the game. That's pretty good for me. The rest of it is scripted, and that is amazing for a PSP game, if you ask me. Or any RPG for that matter. But enough about that. In this section you're going to have to fight a bunch of Shadow Stalkers and a couple of Centaurs, and that's it. The Centaur over there really doesn't present itself as a problem as long as you keep your distance and just try to take out the smaller enemies first. It really will help you in the end, I promise, but right here is one problem I did have with the lock-on camera, because I think this is where I'm trying to lock onto the Centaur and try to get some damage on him. But I keep locking onto the Shadow Stalker, so I just said forget it and started attacking them. Which really I never complain about anything about Kingdom Hearts when it comes to the lock-on system. Really the only 2 games that really presented itself as a problem to me is Chain of Memories on the PS2 and Birth by Sleep. But on Birth by Sleep it's not really that bad because I don't really need it. Because you just pretty much, the combat system is so good in that game, you really don't need to worry about it. But here's where I really just start going after the Centaur, because I am not putting up with him anymore, but he jumps all the way over there. I know there's one world later where we're going to be fighting some bosses, and it's very annoying how when you're fighting them, they'll jump around and you can't keep nailing them. Pretty much just spam a move and kill them like that. So there, I finally killed that Centaur, and then there's one more of these guys. I just really cannot stand Shadow Stalkers because of the fact they just go on the ground and you can't get them back up. And here I just charged forward like a freaking idiot, and I should have stayed back a little bit. Because the number one thing that you can do to prevent them from doing that attack is try countering it as fast as possible. But it's just really annoying. That guy was pretty much an idiot, just jumped straight to the blast. I would highly recommend using the ice attack on these guys because it seems to do a little bit of damage. Do not use fire because it does not work. Fire is absolute crap in this game compared to what it was in the other one. Okay, but right here is the final Centaur as he goes down with more strike. You may also see that I got the slide dash. I do not equip that till after we get Mulan in our party. So yeah. Getting kind of tired. One thing I never understood is how the what the heck, the Shan Yu is able to call Heartless. It never is explained, and I kind of wanted to know why, because there's not no evil gang. Jafar does return in this game, so does Maleficent, of course, as we've already seen, and Ursula does reappear. I'm trying to think of that group of villains that was at Hollow Bastion. Those are Boogie will be back in this game. But other than that, I think that's about it. So to why he is able to do it, I will never know, I guess. Alright, I'm sorry, Captain, but this is really bad animation right here. There is nothing wrong with him. He has not been...
Don't overdo it, Captain.
There's nothing
it's just
wrong
a
with
scratch.
her. Now, if they were to like rip off a chunk of his armor a little bit, make him look like a beat up instead of looking like fresh as a daisy, I might be able to buy it, but he's just clenching his gut like, oh man, I can't do this. Go on without me.
Right.
They're talking about how Mushu said that it was in there.
You mean my fault?
It's not your fault, it's the Army's fault. They didn't scout out the area
John, you and the Heartless
fast
did
enough.
this, not us. Captain, if you track down the villagers, we'll handle this. Let's go.
And then right here, I skipped the rest of that cutscene because all it is like a fade out effect, and I really do not care for those. But yeah, up here is the epic battle that is supposed to be epic, but doesn't find itself epic in the bit. Well, it is kind of, I guess, but not that much. But my views are different from someone else's. I don't know why you give you the option to ride the wind. You cannot do anything with it here. You only use it like once in the entire game. It's just on one boss fight. It's not until the second time we come here, so. I don't know why I'm yawning all of a sudden. Get an AP boost. Trust me, we'll get plenty of those later in the game. If you thought I wasn't lying, I think I already said it in the past that we're going to be getting just tons and tons of ability boosts, and most of them I will not be using. It's just that most of the time I can find something to equip the Sora, and it turns out okay, and I cannot wait for the next cutscene. It is one of my all-time favorites in this game. It has one of the most memorable lines for me.
Oh!
Attack!
Okay. This part is just really you hack and slash at Heartless. I don't mind this right here, but I just really do not like these sections. There is one later in the game, I guess about halfway, that is supposed to be like a symbolic fight, and people probably know what I'm talking about. And it just really is boring to me. It's epic, and I will be speeding that part up because it does take a long time to do, and it's just nothing but me fighting Heartless, fighting Heartless, fighting Heartless. There's 1,000 of them versus Sora. Yeah. And I'll be doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. I don't think there'll be that much entertainment to watch, but I do have plans to speed that up.